Welcome to M&S Logistics, your trusted partner in safe and efficient tank loading and discharge operations. In this guide, we will walk you through the essential procedures to ensure compliance, safety, and efficiency in handling liquid cargo. Before any loading begins, make sure the vehicle is securely braked, with wheels chocked if necessary. Check that the cargo matches the required specification and quantity, and that it suits the tank's capacity. Refer to the SDS to confirm. Ensure safety and firefighting equipment is ready, including water and emergency showers, preferably located upwind of the tank. Connect the earth wire from the tank to the local earth point before attaching any hoses. Verify that all hose connections are the correct thread type and that seals and gaskets are compatible with the product. Ensure there are suitable facilities for draining hoses and valves. Check the cleanliness certificate and gas-free certificate. A plant operator should inspect the inside of the tank and verify the inlet and outlet valves are clean and operational. Finally, confirm that the appropriate personal protective equipment is worn. Before any filling operation, always ensure that the tank is empty and clean. This guarantees that it is suitable for carrying the designated product. For hazardous vapours, a vapour return hose must be connected to the airline valve during filling, creating a closed fill system. This prevents hazardous vapours from being released into the environment. When filling the tank, make sure to leave the necessary ullage space and never overfill. Hazardous liquids must be filled to at least 80% of the tank's capacity to comply with regulations. Before transportation, apply custom seals to all TIR sealing points and confirm that the tank is marked with the correct product placard. Double-check that all paperwork and certifications are in order. Let's have a look at the loading procedures. Loading through the manhole. Connect the earth wire to the terminal. Close all bottom valves. Open the manhole and insert the hose into the tank. Secure the hose to prevent possible whiplash. Fill the tank to the required level, drain the hose and remove it from the tank. Close the man lid and tighten it down. Remove the earth connection. For loading, the process may involve either a pump load or gravity load through the manhole. Let's look at loading through the bottom discharge using a pump. Connect the earth wire to the terminal. Open air inlet valve, or alternatively the manhole, if product is not hazardous or sensitive. Remove the bottom discharge dust cap and connect the hose securely. Open valves and fill the tank to the required level. Close the foot valve, followed by the external valve. Disconnect the hose and replace the dust cap. Close the man lid or air inlet and tighten it down. Remove the earth connection. Closed loop loading system. For noxious or hazardous cargoes, a closed loop system may be required. This method ensures that all displaced air, gas or vapour is safely returned to the storage tank through the vapour return line. The cargo is pumped into the tank container through either the bottom valve or the top valve with a siphon tube. Pressure loading through top or bottom. The cargo is loaded to the tank container by applying top pressure in the loading plant's storage tank, therefore assisting the product filling and flow process to the tank container, either using the bottom valve or alternatively the top valve assembly. For sensitive or hazardous products, vapours are vented via the air inlet valve to a vent tank. Let's have a look at the after-loading procedures. Clean and stow supply and return hoses, replacing caps and blanks. Ensure all tank fittings are closed, capped and free from spillage. Remove the earth connection. Replace safety equipment. If required, seal the tank and fittings per customs regulations. Check that the tank is properly labelled and that any unnecessary labels are removed. Let's have a look at the discharge procedures. Before starting the discharge process, ensure that the vehicle is securely braked, using wheel chocks if necessary. Contact the local supervisor to confirm that there is sufficient space in the receiving tank. If the receiving tank already contains product, verify that it is identical to the cargo being discharged. If safety or firefighting equipment is required, position it upwind of the tank to ensure rapid accessibility in case of an emergency. Establish a proper earth connection by linking the tank's earthing point to local earthing positions. Check that the hose connections match the threads or fittings on the tank. Ensure that the correct joint rings and gaskets are used and that they are compatible with the cargo. Verify that appropriate facilities are in place for draining hoses and valves after discharge. Check the valve settings on the receiving tank to prevent incorrect routing of the cargo. When discharging by pumping or gravity, avoid implosion by opening the airline valve. The man lid can be opened as an alternative vent if product is not hazardous or sensitive. Ensure that venting is not obstructed by any solidified cargo in the airline or relief valves. For discharge using top pressure, ensure that a pressure gauge is visible and in good working condition to monitor the applied pressure throughout the process. Let's have a look at unloading using pressure discharge, both from the top and the bottom of the tank. Attach the earth connection from the tank to the local terminal earthing point. For bottom discharge, remove the bottom discharge dust cap and connect the hose, ensuring the assembly is correct and secure. For top discharge, remove the top discharge blind flange and connect the hose securely. For bottom discharge, open the foot valve, then gradually open the external butterfly valve. For top discharge, gradually open the top butterfly valve. Connect the airline and slowly open the air inlet valve. Apply pressure throughout the discharge process until it is complete. Once the discharge is finished and the hose line is empty, cut off the pressure supply. Close the air inlet valve, disconnect the airline, and refit the dust cap. Drain the hose to remove any remaining residue. For bottom discharge, close the foot valve and the external butterfly valve. For top discharge, close the top butterfly valve. Disconnect the hose. For bottom discharge, replace the dust cap on the bottom outlet assembly. For top discharge, replace the top discharge blind flange. Remove the earth connection. Before transportation, ensure all paperwork and certifications are complete and correct. Let's have a look at unloading using pump discharge, both from the top and the bottom of the tank. Start by connecting the earth wire to the terminal. For top discharge, remove the top discharge blind flange and securely connect the hose. For bottom discharge, remove the bottom discharge outlet blanking cap or flange and securely connect the hose. Open the air inlet vapor return assembly to vent the tank. The man lid can be opened as an alternative vent if product is not hazardous or sensitive. Open the external valve and begin the discharge process. Once the discharge is complete, drain the hose, close the top or bottom external valve and remove the hose from the tank. Replace the top discharge blind flange. For bottom discharge tanks with a foot valve and external valve, close the foot valve. Drain the hose, close the external valve, disconnect the hose and replace the blanking cap or flange. This sequence is essential to ensure no product remains between the foot valve and external valve. Finally, close the air inlet valve, or man lid if opened. Tighten the vapor return assembly and remove the earth connection. When using a high-capacity pump, it is recommended that a vacuum safety valve is incorporated in the suction line to protect the tank from vacuum collapse. The suction side of a suitable pump may be connected to the top or the bottom outlets, or to a hose via the manhole to pump the cargo to higher level storage tanks. Air or gas must be allowed into the tank container to replace the cargo being discharged. Depending on the nature of the cargo, this can be achieved by opening the man lid or airline connection, or by connection to an inert gas supply. Let's look at unloading gravity discharge from the bottom. Connect the earth wire to the terminal, remove the bottom discharge dust cap and securely connect the hose. Open the foot valve and external valve. Connect the airline and open the air inlet valve. Once discharge is complete and the hose is empty, close the air inlet valve, disconnect the airline and replace the dust cap. Drain the hose, close the foot valve and external valve. Disconnect the hose, replace the dust cap and remove the earth connection. Final checks after discharge. Ensure the tank is empty. Stow all hoses and replace caps and blanks. Verify that all tank fittings are closed and secure. remove the earth connection, restore all safety equipment. For hazardous cargo, consider the tank dangerous until cleaned and declared gas-free. If necessary, retain nitrogen in the tank to prevent residue from becoming corrosive. By following these procedures, M&S Logistics ensures that all loading and discharge operations are conducted safely, efficiently, and in full compliance with industry regulations. Thank you for your attention, and remember, safety first in all operations.